wrestling fans. My name is Brian Crazy.
I'm JC Styles.
And we're the F and brand of wrestling and entertainment here on YouTube.com and the World Wide Web. Since 2010, providing you with the wrestling news, reviews, rumors, insight that you're grown accustomed to. And you saw the title of the video. We are back with our review and results for tonight's Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. The Elimination Chamber took place February 17, 2013 from the New Orleans Arena in New Orleans, Louisiana. There were 7 matches on the card. It started off at 7:30 live on YouTube.com and WWE.com with the official Elimination Chamber pre-show.
Yes, we kicked off the pre-show with Brodus Clay and Tensai against Team Rhodes Scholars. And this was actually a pretty decent match. A lot of back and forth, a lot of tag team, maneuvers. I kind of like the closing segments of the match where they kind of did like a sandwich on Sandow and then did a double splash on Rhodes to win the match. I thought that was pretty cool.
I mean, it's a pretty interesting tag team. I never thought they would have ever paired Brodus Clay and Tensai together. I mean, if you guys have followed the videos for quite some time, I've been a huge fan of Tensai, the Tensai character. I really felt like he could have done something huge in WWE as that character. Unfortunately, he got typecasted as Albert. The fans just would not let it go, and WWE just decided not to push it any farther.
Exactly.
When he first came in, he was a monster. I mean, do you remember that first night when he first fought Alex Riley, when he grabbed him with that claw, and just how brutal he absolutely was? And I thought it would have been perfect. He should have been the bodyguard to John Laurinaitis. There should have been some sort of tie-in because Laurinaitis made his name over in Japan as Johnny Ace, and Tensai could have been his Japanese bodyguard. But fast forward to today, we have these two guys together as a tag team. Pretty interesting. We see an interesting segment later on the night. I have to admit, it was funny.
Yeah.
They plugged a little merch. Brodus Clay and Tensai pick up the win in this match. Then we go into the second match of the night, World's Heavyweight title match. This is the match that I personally was waiting for. Alberto Del Rio, a man that I've been fond of since he made his debut in the company. Even before he made his debut, I went back, looked at a lot of old footage from down in Mexico when he was known as Dos Caras Jr. I mean, incredible athlete. And I liked him as a heel. I like him as a face. I'm not one of those bandwagon people that's just jumping on the bandwagon because he's a face now. But I was really curious what, this was possibly the last confrontation between Del Rio and the Big Show.
Yes.
And I was hoping, I liked the channeling of Eddie Guerrero, winning by any means necessary, the duct taping of the feet. That was funny, you know what I mean? But tonight, I really wanted to see a clean match with a clean finish, and that's what we got.
Exactly.
It was a good contest.
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty good contest as well. I predicted that Del Rio was going to win, and I kind of knew. I was expecting just to see, maybe an attempt at a cash-in, and we didn't get an attempt at a cash-in. Then we find out later in the night who's the #1 contender. So I would assume that they're going to probably set something up between those two guys and have Ziggler cash in the Money in the Bank sometime between now and maybe a couple of weeks down the road. But back to the Big Show Del Rio match, I thought it was pretty good. I like the fact that Big Show says that Del Rio's never going to pin him. And then Del Rio wins with the cross armbar. I thought that was amazing.
I mean, Big Show was so close to the ropes, too. I mean, he was almost within arm's distance. But Alberto Del Rio did overcome the Big Show finally after so many enziguri kicks to the head, which me and JC Styles were talking about. We absolutely love that maneuver. And talking about Dolph Ziggler and the potential cash-in, it would have been interesting to see tonight. And depending on who won in the Elimination Chamber match, they could have really set up a pretty interesting feud. But with Ziggler not cashing in tonight and with the feud that has been set up, me personally, this is just what I'm thinking, I don't see him cashing in until after the WrestleMania 29 pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Now remember, Money in the Bank is a yearly thing. He has 1 year to cash in that contract, so that gives him all the way until this summer. That gives him until July.
Yeah.
So that's still months away. And this is the first time that we've ever seen them actually use that to a superstar's advantage or possibly disadvantage. But there's always quick cash-ins. When have we ever seen that whole year utilized? I mean, it is different. It is different. Alberto Del Rio did pick up the win over the Big Show. He made him tap out, like JC Styles said, via cross armbar. He is still your World's Heavyweight Champion. Then we go into the third match of the night. This is a singles match for the United States Championship. It features two superstars that me and JC Styles really both enjoy. The Miz versus Antonio Cesaro, who's the defending champion. Going into this match, unfortunately, we weren't able to produce predictions for you guys this time around. but we both wanted Cesaro to pick up the win.
Yes.
And that's what we saw in a great contest.
Yes, it was great. I think that it would have been a lot better of a contest if The Miz wasn't hurt and tweaked his arm on SmackDown. And I just think that it was a really good match overall. You got Miz playing the face, you got Cesaro playing the heel, and he's kind of like getting the crowd over because he's kind of like one of those tweeners. You got some of the people in the crowd were cheering him, some of the crowd were booing him. So I could possibly see them doing something more. And Cesaro, since debuting on WWE TV, has had my vote ever since, and I'm still going to stick with that. And I think that Cesaro can do big things in this company.
Oh, I believe that 100%. Claudio Castagnoli, as he was known down in ROH, I mean, a fantastic superstar. When he first made his debut, like JC Styles said, you could tell that he was going to do something big. And the way he's winning over the fans, not by only playing a face or playing a heel, but by what he does in the ring, the in-ring action, what he brings to the table. And that's what he proved tonight. A nice, classic, old-school style feeling wrestling match. Miz versus Cesaro. This ended up ending with a disqualification, but as the rules are, the champion keeps his title. So we go to the fourth match of the night. This is the Elimination Chamber match. Only one Elimination Chamber on tonight's card, very similar to last year's Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, where we saw only one Hell in a Cell match as well. But that could be looked as a positive or a negative. The positive is it makes that one match feel a little more special.
Yeah.
The negative is you have a pay-per-view that's based around the concept of Elimination Chamber, and you're only getting one Elimination Chamber match. You guys leave your thoughts below. What's your take on that? But the match featured Jack Swagger versus Chris Jericho versus Daniel Bryan versus Kane, Mark Henry, and the Viper Randy Orton.
Yes, going into this match, I had a couple picks. I had Swagger, Henry, and Chris Jericho.
Same here, the same three guys.
And it was just, honestly, an amazing feel. It was an amazing match. You had some really good spots, which is usually what they're utilized for. You get the match, you get a couple of good spots, you get that person who really excels in the performance. And I honestly think everyone excelled in their performance in this match, and there wasn't anything bad that you could say about these guys because they were taking some really sick bumps in this match.
Well, no pun intended, because the chamber is made out of it is a chain structure.
Yes.
But there was no weak link in the chain tonight.
Yeah.
I mean, every superstar performed incredibly, and like JC Styles said, my picks were Swagger, Jericho, and Mark Henry as well. But I figured if they decided to pull the trigger and turn Randy Orton heel, he could have been a possible fourth pick. But it got narrowed right down to Jack Swagger winning this match. And, I mean, what an interesting comeback. I mean, we haven't seen the guy in months.
Exactly.
I've speculated for months when he was going to come back. They were going to do something big with him. I mean, he's a former world champion. If they didn't release him, the writing was on the wall that they wanted to reboot him. They wanted to do something a little bit different with his character. And they're still utilizing the All-American, but they've changed it. They've turned him into this American that's xenophobic, I think would be the correct word. He's afraid of people from the outside. He's afraid of people coming into his country.
I think it's kind of the other way. I think it's more he's kind of disgusted with the way things in America are turning.
Well, because of the what he perceives as I believe he said the immigrants, the people coming in. And he's got Dirty Dutch Mantel with him.
Yep.
Everybody remembers Zeb Cutler. He used to be with the Blues Brothers, and he was with, we were talking about this during the pay-per-view, I was trying to think, he managed somebody else, and I just can't think of it off the top of my head. But this was a great contest. Jack Swagger is the new number one contender for the World's Heavyweight title, and as it stands, Swagger versus Del Rio at WrestleMania 29. Then we go into the fifth contest of the night. This was another match that me and JC Styles were really hyped up about. We were really hoping that who were perceived as the underdogs were going to pick up the win in this contest. It was the Shield. Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, and Seth Rollins squaring off against Ryback, John Cena, and the Celtic Warrior Sheamus.
And what's funny about this is that when they debuted on what was it? Survivor Series.
Survivor Series? Yeah, Survivor Series.
When they debuted at Survivor Series, it's like, well, who the hell are these three freaking clowns,
Well, Well, I followed NXT,
Yeah.
and JC recently started following
Yes.
NXT, and now we're seeing what amazing talent, how bright the
Yes.
future of WWE
I actually
really is.
I actually have an NXT review up if you guys want to look. We'll put a link in the annotation.
But if you guys aren't watching NXT, you're missing out. This is an incredible product. The future of WWE is so bright. Right now, it might look a little grim. It might look a little bleak. But trust me, it's going to get better.
The Divas division down there is better than what you see right now on WWE TV. And that's just a real shame because you got people that are down in the NXT indie circuit and NXT that are performing and can probably outperform the divas that are on TV right now.
Well, that's the thing about it. They're getting them ready. They want this next generation of superstars to be polished. They want them to be ready. They want them to have all the tools that they need to go out there to excel, to succeed, and not end up, being on the lower card and end up 6 months from now end up being dropped.
But honestly, what I also stated this in my NXT review, but we're getting off subject. But just the thing is, though, you have these women busting their ass down on NXT, performing these 10-minute matches, and then they come up to Raw or SmackDown, and their 10-minute matches are cut down to 2 minutes, and then they're being used as fillers.
Well,
is it really fair for the women that are honestly wanting, hard working to be, hey, I'm going to be on WWE TV, and then all of a sudden now I'm only on there for 2 minutes. What the hell?
Well, I've been saying that since we started this channel 3 years ago. I've been saying that how do you expect the divas to be able to get over with the crowd? How do you expect the crowd to have an emotional investment? How do you expect the crowd to get behind these divas if you don't even give them the chance to shine, if you don't even give them the chance to show everybody what they got? I mean, basically, you're cutting off their legs before they're even given the chance to stand.
Exactly.
And I've been saying this. If you guys followed this channel for a while, or if you just started following, now you know. I've been saying this forever. You have some incredible talent, and there's some divas that really, really want to be there. Caitlyn, for example, she really wants to be there.
Yeah.
And there's a few others that really, really want to be there. And they're not given the opportunity. Layla, she really wants to be there. And just not given the opportunity. And, it's almost to the point of, almost, I don't want to say disgusting, but it is almost disgust because you know what they can do.
Exactly.
And then you end up getting a recap of what happened on SmackDown.
Yeah.
Like, I understand some fans don't follow the show as religiously as we do, and it's nice to be able to bring them up to speed, but in the same regard, with a 3-hour Monday Night Raw, you can't fit in a 5 to 7 minute Divas match.
No, because they want an hour worth of backstage and in-ring promos. But, besides that, we got a really good 6-man tag match, which when this was announced after Raw went off the air, it was originally supposed to be inside the Elimination Chamber, like Brian said earlier in the video that we only got one chamber. Then WWE decided that they wanted to pull it, and actually Triple H was the one that really brought up the idea of having it in the chamber in the first place to give the fans that, something different instead of just seeing a free-for-all Elimination Chamber match, every man for himself. But my boys, the Shield, picked up the win.
I would have really liked to see this inside the Elimination Chamber. I think that would have really added the extra dynamic that this match needed. It was an okay contest.
It needed like that extra nudge for the future, maybe more realistic.
Well, the faces got their spots, so the crowd would cheer. The Shield ended up getting the victory. Like I noted to JC Styles, if you guys noticed, John Cena nor Sheamus took the fall. Ryback took the fall in this match. Further, just devaluing Ryback's stock, in my opinion.
Exactly.
I mean, I want to get behind Ryback. JC wants to get behind Ryback. But unfortunately, every one of Ryback's outings, major outings, he's come up short.
Yeah.
One reason or another, he's come up short. Now we go to the 6th match of the night. This is for the Divas Championship. We're going to keep it short and sweet because we want to get right into the main event, which we're going to keep short and sweet as well because we want to get this uploaded for you guys. So if you weren't able to watch the pay-per-view, you can know what's going on. So the 6th match of the night, Divas title. Caitlyn was the defending Divas champion. She squared off against Tamina Snuka, the daughter of WWE legend Jimmy Superfly Snuka.
Yes, this is a quick match, and I said it to Brian too. It was like, Tamina, she shows up after not being seen on TV for months, gets a Divas Championship shot, loses, and then we won't see her for another 6 months, and then she'll come back for a Divas Championship.
Well, it's a shame because they had Tamina come back. She looked so dominant, so strong. They really
They repackaged her as Tamina Snuka and not just Tamina.
Well, they started repackaging her even before she took her,
Yeah.
her break, before the hiatus happened. But when she came back, she had like new fire. She had like a new momentum. It just felt different. It felt fresh. It felt like she was
Exactly.
revitalized. That was the word I was really searching for. And, you know, she was almost the hired gun of Vicky Guerrero. And here we are a few weeks later.
And what happened?
Well, what I gotta say is I'm kind of glad that they kept the title on Caitlyn. At least that they're believing in a new superstar. They're believing in Caitlyn. They're trying to create a star.
Definitely.
Which I can understand that. And then we go into the 7th match of the night. The Rock.
There was an impromptu Dolph Ziggler versus Kofi Kingston match.
Excuse me.
And then this was just pretty much just to get Dolph Ziggler on the show. And then it just turned out to an all-out assault. We see Big E leave the ring and then comes back in and just completely dominates and destroys Kofi. Like, he was just throwing him all around the ring, just really using his power. And again, NXT has got me really behind Big E, and it's like everyone's like, oh, you know, Big E sucks. What does he do? He just attacks people. Then you will go down and you watch him on NXT. He's so dominant that instead of getting a 3 count, he's given a 5 count because this guy is just so dominant. And he is the NXT World Heavyweight Champion down there too. So, you know, it's just, again, you don't appreciate him now. Try to go get on the Hulu every Wednesday night and try to check out NXT, and you guys should be able to actually, you know, the ones that don't watch the product.
You can see it firsthand, exactly. Now, we're going to go into the championship match, but there's just 2 quick things that I want to say. There's 2 points that I want to make about the competitors involved in the championship match. Point number 1, I want to talk about The Rock just for a brief minute. Now, a lot of wrestling fans are disgusted in The Rock because he decided to leave wrestling for several years. He decided to try to transcend the boundaries of sports entertainment and break out into mainstream entertainment. And for a little while, he didn't want to be known as The Rock. He wanted to be known by his birth name, the name that his parents gave him, Dwayne Johnson. Now, if you invented something, or if you started a movie, or you did something big, wouldn't you want your name attached to it? Wouldn't you want your kids to be able to look up and say, oh, my father was in this? Or generations to come to say,
exactly,
this is something my ancestor, or I know him, or wow, look at the contribution that this person made. Whoever this person may be, Dwayne Johnson made this contribution. And good mic work here on YouTube said it best. As wrestling fans, we should be proud of The Rock. One of our wrestlers was able to transcend the boundaries of sports entertainment and break out to mainstream entertainment. And when the WWE needed him, a few years ago, when the WWE needed him most. And I don't want to hear this BS that he came back for money. Because, yeah, I'm sure he's getting paid. Do you go to work not to make money? I'm sure he's boosting the ratings. I'm sure he's bringing extra revenue. And I'm sure he's justifying his salary. But at the end of the day, he makes far more money doing any one of his Hollywood films. And I'm sure, from what I've read, what I know, and what I've heard about The Rock from other people that are involved in the business, that The Rock is back because the WWE needed him. When they needed him, he came back. And he's not leaving after 29. He's even been confirmed to work WrestleMania 30.
And SummerSlam.
And SummerSlam. So that's just one point that I wanted to make. Second point, in our review last month, when me and JC Styles talked about the 2013 Royal Rumble pay-per-view, I made a couple little jokes. I was stoked. I had a fun time watching the pay-per-view. Me and my best friend since I was 11 years old were having fun. I called CM Punk Cookie Puss. I called Paul Heyman Twinkie Tits. Now, if you guys have followed this channel, you'll know exactly how I feel about these 2 people. First of all, Paul Heyman. Paul E. Heyman, the founder of ECW. Paulie Dangerously, the man that put together the Dangerous Alliance at WCW as a little boy. Some of the most dominant superstars that I've ever seen assembled. Then CM Punk, a superstar I've watched for years. I probably knew more about CM Punk before you people even got to know who Punk was. So, you know what? This is the effing brand, and you can put it up your effing ass, okay? Because you know what?
You know what's funny? A lot of people, you know, they'll say, oh, The Rock has only come back to promote a movie. Since The Rock has come back, Brian, have you heard him get on the mic and say, oh, well, The Rock's going to be playing Big G.I. Joe in this summer, or make sure you go see me team up with Vin Diesel in the new Fast 6 movie? No, he didn't do that. Did he do it last year? No. And the fans are also getting, WWE just happened to be sponsoring The Rock's movie. The WWE, not The Rock, the WWE.
Well, here's my question. If The Rock comes back and makes a shameless plug, he's the worst person on the planet.
But Mick Foley could come back 20, 30, 40, 50 times a year
and plug his book. I love Mick Foley, but Bret Hart can do it. Shawn Michaels can do it. Anybody can do it.
But when Shawn Michaels does it, he usually has it with Triple H, and it's always DX merch.
It's great. It's great. But what I'm trying to say is because The Rock does it, he should be crucified. He should be burned in hell. You know what I mean? It's wrestling fan logic. I guess if you didn't have wrestling fans that were so irrational and so flip-flop-ish and so, I don't even know the word. I guess the business wouldn't, that facet of the business wouldn't survive. I guess those are some of the most vocal fans in the arena, I guess. It still perplexes me how people can look at things so illogically in life, but
this match was short. It was a little short because CM Punk and WWE's have concerns that CM Punk is actually a lot beat up and hurt than he's letting on. So the match really didn't go that long. It only went 15 minutes, and you could tell certain times of the match when Rock was hitting him, he wasn't doing it. Obviously we all know it's choreographed, it's all scripted, everything, it's fake, blah, blah, blah. But the thing is, though,
if that's your major hang-up, stop watching this video right now.
But you know what, though? You look at it, and the thing is, if they're trying to protect Punk, I can understand why they only had him go out there for 10, 15 minutes. I respect that. I respect The Rock in knowing that, hey, CM Punk's hurt. I'm going to let up a little bit, and I'm not going to go full speed like I normally do. And I can respect that, too. Great match. Probably two of the best guys on the mic in the WWE right now. And the winner of the match is still your WWE champion. Lo and behold, what a shock! We all knew this going into Royal Rumble. Rock was going to win. We knew leaving Royal Rumble that The Rock was going to retain that Elimination Chamber.
I called it. If you go back on Fight Nation Wrestling, my personal channel here on YouTube, if you go over to Fight Nation Wrestling, I called it last July that Rock was going to win the title at Royal Rumble. Cena was going to end up becoming the #1 contender somehow, either Royal Rumble, Elimination Chamber, somehow, and we were going to see this match at WrestleMania. I called it all the way back then. I mean, the writing has been on the wall, people. The writing's been on the wall. So we were going to see The Rock versus John Cena. Now, this was an okay contest. You could tell The Rock was getting a little winded throughout points in the match. I would say The Rock looked a lot better than he did at the Royal Rumble. Looks like he's been doing some sort of, if I had to guess, some sort of cardio regimen to get, a little bit longer stamina, be able to go a little bit longer in the ring.
And he's also been training with guys like Alex Riley and Mr. Perfect's son, Joe Henning, which I refuse to call him Michael McGillicuddy.
Same here, huge fan of Joe Henning.
Joe Henning all the way. I think WWE is underutilizing guys like Joe Henning, and they're underutilizing guys like Justin Gabriel, and the guys who are literally the future of the business. And I think Shawn Michaels said it best a few weeks back on NXT. The guys you see in NXT are going to be the future of the WWE.
Oh, I agree.
And he hit the nail right on the head.
Well, I think the biggest problem right now is you have guys like Gabriel, and you have guys like, he's out right now, but Tyson Kidd, and you have guys like Alex Riley.
And Evan Bourne.
And Evan Bourne's still out right now, too. But you have all these great talents. Why do we see the same matches every week on Raw involving the same superstars? All right, so let's get a guy built up. If Swagger's going to become the World's Heavyweight Champion, if that's their penultimate goal, their penultimate goal was him winning tonight and then moving on to that title match at WrestleMania.
Exactly.
Every week, go through Gabriel, go through Riley,
build them up,
and have these guys.
They're doing a tremendous job right now with Swagger.
They are, but every week have them go through talent we don't see. Don't have them beat the same freaking guys. Don't have.
Last week we saw him go after Zack Ryder twice.
But it's just always it's nice to see Ryder on TV.
Oh yeah, that too.
You know what I mean? But it's always just the same match, the same matches. Something different, something unpredictable, something fresh is going to keep the fans tuning into this product. If you see the same exact thing every week, what's the point? Exactly. That's just my take on it. I'm sure JC Styles has a similar opinion.
I agree.
But we got to wrap this up, guys.
So for the Effin brand of wrestling and entertainment, please check out all the channels that make up the Effin brand of wrestling and entertainment here on YouTube.com. Go now. Go.
The links are in the description box below. Yeah. Have a great night, guys. Stay safe. And as JC Styles would say, have a safe early morning commute. And learn to love it. Because me and JC Styles are back. And it's soon going to be the biggest wrestling channel on YouTube once again. And that's all I got to say about that.